In this home training session, we're going to move away from looking at improving our fencing ability and instead focus on our refereeing. So the main content we're going to cover is just the hand signals and phrasing that you need to control and phrase, explain about. So I know many of you have started trying, and mostly you're all familiar with using on guard, ready and play, but you get a bit confused when you come to the other hand signals. So as this is a time where we can't actually be fencing, it's a good time for you to start getting your refereeing skills built up. You can watch videos, and I'll provide links to them, of decent matches, and you can sit at home, practice refereeing, practice getting your hand signals, practice phrasing. Another thing is just create your own scenarios. Imagine a bout between two people from the club and decide what happens and then phrase it. Make it up. Just get used to using the hand signals with the phrasing at the same time. So let's begin at the start of the bout with the on guard commands. So to command the fencers to come on guard, arms out, palms facing down. To then ask them if they're ready, turn your hands towards the fencers, and when you say play, bring the hands down to this side. So, on guard, palms out, ready, palms facing the fencers, play, palms together. So that's on guard, ready, play. With any hand signal, make sure it's got enough time so it's clear. You don't want to rush through the hand signals. You also need to let the fencers see and hear what you're doing. Hand signals are good because if a fencer can't quite hear what you're saying, they can still go on your hand signals. So make sure your voice and hand signals are coming at the same time. So once again, that is on guard, ready, play. Moving into the actual bout itself. If you want the two fencers to stop, when you say halt, there is officially a halt symbol where you'll raise your hand like so. So if you want two fencers to stop fencing, then just raise your hand and say halt. But what happens when you need to explain the situation? So if we look at one of the most simplest possibilities, you have a fence on the left, they attack. Now, there's a few different outcomes that can occur from this. Either the fencer's hit kind of landed, either on or off target, if we're talking about foil, it could have missed, or it could have been parried. So if we take that through, we first of all need to identify who was the attacking fencer. And in this example, I've said the fencer on the left is the one who's lunging in and attacking. So to show that they're the attacking fencer, you point to them. You say the attack. So as you're identifying who's attacking, you literally point to the fencer who's attacking. Attack. You then have to describe what happens to the attack. And the way your hands flow, you go from the person who makes the action to where the action is being made on. So the fencer on the left is attacking the fencer on the right. And our outcomes, let's start positive. We could have the attack was touche, i.e. it has hit our opponent. So our attack is touche. So the signal for touche or hit is just the arm completely extended like so. Note the difference between attack and touche. The positions of the hands, fingers pointing down for attack, palm facing the fences for touche. So that's if we've hit our opponent on target. What about in foil if we hit off target, so off of the lame? In that instance, the attack would be off target or non-valid. So attack, non-valid. So the forearm is pointing down and you get the side-to-side motion. Attack, off target, attack, non-valid. When we're doing your hand signals, it's important to do one hand signal and then the other. Don't try and do both hand signals at the same time because you'll be confused and look confusing. So make it clear. The attack was either touche or the attack was off target. But that's assuming you've hit your opponent. If you fail to hit your opponent, In that case, the attack was no. You failed to hit. Attack. No. You've missed your opponent. So, they're the options that don't take into account your opponent. But if you have the situation where the attack is then parried and riposted by your opponent, you also need to phrase and explain that. So in that situation, you have the attack was parried. Attack. Parried. So you've now interlocked arms, showing one sword is being stopped by the other. Attack is parried. After the parry, you then have the riposte. So attack is parried. Riposte, what then happens to the riposte? So we've explained so far that we have the attacking side. It's been parried. They then riposte, and then likewise they can either hit, touche. They can miss. No. They could hit off target and foil. Non-valid, or off target. Or likewise, they themselves could be parried. In this case, it would be known as a counter riposte. Counter riposte. And then back we would go again to say the counter riposte was touche, left. So that is the formal way you can do it. Say you have a situation where the attack is parried, the riposte is touche. So you would say attack, parry, riposte, touche. Now, before we move on to just making that a bit simpler for you, you also need to make sure it's clear who gets the point. So after saying touche, in this case I'm saying the fencer on my right has scored a hit, you need to signal that they've scored a hit by raising your hand as so. So this signifies that the fencer has scored the point. It could be, again, we have an attack and it hits, in which case we'd have attack, touche, point. In épée, it is possible to score, for both fences to score, at which point after having a double touche, you would have point. Both fences have scored a point. So anytime you've got someone scoring for you, it's always very important to make sure that the hand is clearly up. Also any matches, particularly when you've got parents watching, this at least allows parents to see who's getting the point. They're going to see your hand signals going back and forth. This is the one that they need to look out for to see who has scored the point. So in that situation where we have the fencer attacking, they're then parried and riposted, we would phrase it as attack is touche. Sorry, got that completely wrong. Attack is parried. The riposte is touche. Point. So that will be us phrasing every action that occurred. Attack, parry, riposte is touche, point. Now, as a referee, you only need to phrase the final three actions. So that would only get up to a counter riposte level. Attack is parried, riposte, counter parry, riposte, touche, left, for example. You don't have to go attack is parried, is parried, is parried, parried, parried. That gets confusing. Only keep to the final three actions. But what you'll notice a lot of referees will do is they'll make it even simpler. In the situation where you've got the attack is parried, riposte is touche, point. Instead of saying this is the attacker, they will simply go riposte, touche, point. Because if this fencer has riposted, that is telling both fencers that if you're the riposter, you must have parried. If you've parried, you've therefore been attacked. So by just saying riposte, it explains that you had the attack and it was parried. The riposte is touche, point. So just putting out a word of advice here, this kind of refereeing is useful for you as club level. If you go on to do refereeing assessments, phrase it fully, be confident, make it clear to whoever's assessing you that you're seeing every action and you're getting your hand signals out nice and clear. As I was saying, don't try and do all your hand signals at once because it just blurs into a mess. Give every hand signal a second or two to see. Attack, parry, riposte, touche, point. Again, holding up the point for just a bit longer to make it clear to your scorer, to the audience, and to the fencers who has got that final point. Now if you notice, all of the signals and commands that I've been given so far are all very brief. You don't have to explain if it was a beat, if it was a counter disengage, if it was a circular parry. Simply describe the action type. Keep it as simple as possible. The less you say, the less the fencers can argue against. The other one is if a fencer scores with point in line. So this is the only time where the signal doesn't point to the fencer who's doing the action. So if I have point in line here, got a straight line, shoulder, elbow, wrist, continuing down the blade into my opponent. So if I'm the fencer on the left and I score with point in line, I do not point to the fence on the left, I would show the line. I would point as so. So my arm represents the fencer's sword. So in that case, if a fence on the left scores with point in line, point, point. To explain it that way. To try and focus mainly on controlling the fight with your on guard. Ready? Play. And then explaining what happens. The attack. Or it could be attack. What happens to the attack? Is it touche? Have they hit the fencer? Is it off target? The foil? Have they hit something that's not alarming? Do they miss? No. Or is it parried? And then explain, if it is parried, what then happens to that riposte. Again, that could be touche, could be no, it could be off target. But whatever happens at the end, decide who gets the point by saying point, point. So they're just the basic referee hand signals. As I say, either make up your own fights in your head, just imagine an action, and then just get used to phrasing it, taking your time to go through all the signals. Or I'll provide some links to some FIE channels where you can watch some matches and try and referee them yourselves. As always, if you've got questions, do let me know. And if you have particular referee questions, I'll try and do some future videos which will answer commonly asked questions as well. Thank you very much.